Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Dunigan.
And we got even more Batman books. Just like it's like this Batman golden age of like, oh, there's always Batman books coming out. I shouldn't say it's not like there's been a dry spell of Batman for a while. Like he just stopped coming out. He started hiding. He went away to the jungle for 5 years. Shit, I don't know what happened. But it just seems like Frank Miller just all of a sudden like rolled out.
He popped out of a hole, saw a shadow, and went back down.
He did. He popped out of a hole and saw Donald Trump, and then decided he's going to write Batman books and Superman books for some reason. Like I don't know. He got inspired, I guess. That's all I learned.
Yeah.
But we thought we'd go back not only we got Dark Knight Returns, like the Golden Boy or whatever, the Golden Child. I can't remember what it's called. Was it Gold Boy or Golden Child?
Golden Child. The Golden Child.
Like that. And then Batman Last Night on Earth Part 3 of Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder.
Yeah. So I guess it's just been back-to-back Frank Miller and DC Comics last few episodes.
Yeah, there's just been like, I don't know, it's just, I guess it's a good surge. It's kind of nice because I just haven't really, You get all these Frank Miller books at once. Why not?
Well, I'll say this about like Dark Knight Returns, the Golden Child. It's one of those things where it opens up, and Frank Miller, partway through Dark Knight 3 Master Race, he said he thinks he wants to do a fourth one. So it's like, okay, cool, we'll see what happens. That book took so long to come out, to finish. I honestly forgot that he was doing the fourth one. So when this was coming out, I'm like, oh, okay. And this book is one of those ones, I feel like, even though it's still kind of bringing in all these plot points from more previous books, more of the recent books, it feels kind of like it's back to the original Dark Knight to some extent, because it's actually kind of speaking more on the world around them. Because Dark Knight Returns was speaking on Reaganism, punk rock, like the class struggle, like different specters of class, and then Strikes Back was I don't know if it was so much of that, but there was a moment where it stopped and took a time to mention 9/11 offhand, and then third was just more of a big grand scale adventure.
Yeah, that's kind of true how that is. Where this one definitely feels just like those ones like Frank woke up, he saw fucking Joker on the fucking cinema, he saw Donald Trump on TV, he had a poster of Obama for some reason in the house still, and he's like, fuck it, we're making a Batman book. You know what, this is the story of Lana, this is going to be the story of the Golden Boy, and this is going to be the story of Carrie Kelly fucking kicking ass. Let's do it. Fucking give me an artist, because I ain't fucking drawing this shit.
Well, Laura, I'll say this. She looks kind of like... She's always kind of like... I thought at some point she'd kind of warm up to humans a little bit more, because she was kind of like, what's the point of them? In like Dark Knight Strikes Back in number 3. She's kind of teeter-tottering on, should we save them? Should we let them die? And this one, she's still kind of like, I'll save them, but I don't fucking like them.
Yeah, well, she's just flying around like, look at them, they're fat as fuck. They're just eating hot dogs all day long and shitting in the streets. Like, then they just, smoke and drink and fucking drive cars and get fucking fatter. Like, fuck this stuff. Come on, Golden Child. Let me show you the world that I see it as. My name's Laura, daughter of Diana and Clark.
Yeah, no, it's one of those books that's like, it's interesting, but we'll see how it goes. It's only the first one in. I'm going to say this, from the very first issue, I was pretty into it. Or from the pretty first, few pages, I was pretty hooked in this book. Just out of seeing, what's he doing, where's he going? Because Frank Miller, you never know what he's going to do. He's going to be calling back to his own work, or he's going to be saying, I don't give a shit about that anymore. I wrote that 30 years ago. Get over it. It's time for something new.
Yeah, no. But no, he's still doing, this to me feels very classic Frank Miller.
Yeah, it is very, just kind of more of the statement, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's got that kind of going in. It's just kind of, it's weird because the whole thing's tied around a political race, and it's almost that thing where it's the odd thing is there's these pictures of Donald Trump, but it's I think it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. I think just those pictures are just there for no fucking reason at all. It's more that Joker's fucking running with Darkseid for fucking... how those two guys got into the political race, I'm not really too sure, but I guess that's just, it could work out that way.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it's one of those things, it's trying to make a statement here. So essentially, here's the short and simple of it, I guess, because we were talking as if everyone already read it, which I'm assuming you listen to the show, you probably did, maybe. But Batman and Superman are off doing other things. Carrie Kelly and Lara, Superman's daughter in the Dark Knight universe that he had with Wonder Woman, are fighting off riots in Gotham City. Because there's all these protests going on, people who want to impeach Trump, and then you get Joker gang coming in and fucking with them. And then you have Jonathan, who looks like a little Satan child who's too good for everything. Just this look on his face, that he always has. Just kind of sitting there, kind of observing and like listening to what Laura says.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you got kind of like the mixed match of all these characters kind of going on right then and there. And then just how they're sort of all each dealing with this, like, I guess, political debauchery almost. And how Lana or we can want to call it Lana. I mean, Lara wants to keep, like, stopping Joker and Darkseid and all this stuff like that.
Well, the thing about it, I guess this leads to some confusion. Like, do they somehow bring Joker back and just didn't explain it? Or is this a new person taking the mantle of Joker? Because, Joker died in Dark Knight Returns in this universe. So I guess from there, it's one of those things. Does it, like, they just moving forward with it? I think the whole thing they're trying to stay with making Trump hang out with Joker. I think it's meant to be a couple things. I think the whole thing with Trump hanging out with Joker, it's more meant to be this thing of, like, I mean, I'll fucking say I hate Trump. I never liked Trump. I always thought he was a fucking asshole and just a dumbass and doesn't give a shit about anybody. But he clearly aligns himself with people. Like, he's not like, I don't think he's like Hitler, like everyone says he is. But people who say crazy radical shit, they like him, and he doesn't really take the time to distance himself from them. So I think that's what he's saying by having all these clowns come in. I think he's trying to say the alt-right is a bunch of clowns, because at some point, I wasn't sure which way he was standing on, because I thought it was just like, oh, wait, are these clowns trying to stop, like, are these clowns trying to stop a Trump rally? Oh, no, these guys are the Trump rally coming after these anti-Trump protesters. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think it's also another one, too. It's like, I actually don't think Trump actually exists in this book. I think that's one of those ones, like, it's like, oddly, it's like it's just taken shape of something, because it never really kind of like seems like, it's not like he's there physically. It's more like it's just Joker and Darkseid, and there just happens to be like Trump merchandise laying around somewhere, but you never see technically Trump himself. So I think it's one of those ones where it's just like, it's there. I feel like it's just there like a plug-in. It sounds weird, almost like a Coca-Cola fucking machine in the background, just he wants you to be aware of it.
I think it's maybe one of those things where it's kind of like, I didn't think about it till you said that, but maybe it's one of those things like he's a character they more or less created. So it's kind of like, yeah, Trump's kind of a dope or whatever, but in real life, it's the guys behind him you got to look out for.
Yeah, and I think that's almost kind of, like, I think it's like trying to give like that extra message out there, like the more you know kind of thing, like Frank Miller, let me teach you some stuff. Frank Miller reminds me like that angry guy who sometimes sits like in front of the fucking TV and yells at it and throws beer at it, maybe. Like, and then gets pissed off and writes a story and then grabs an artist and throws him in his basement and says, fucking draw this shit.
Just throw some colored pencils down the stairs, like, you'll figure it out. And, like, has a single light bulb swinging above him. You have to turn on by pulling a string that's barely hanging on.
Exactly.
And they bring the Sons of the Batman back here. And a lot of this is just kind of riot control. And it sounds like a big, long battle. But at the same time, it doesn't at any point feel too one note or overwhelming. It is setting things up. And at no point is Batman actually in this. At some point, they go back to, like, the Bat bunker, and you see Carrie Kelly still calling the shots, making things run, and Lara's just still being kind of like, whatever, this is fucking stupid. I'm more powerful than everybody here. And then Carrie's like, yeah, well, you're still going to answer to me because I'm the one they left in charge, and I'm the one that actually knows this planet. You are always off in Amazonia or out in space doing space shit. Leave this shit to me.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of have their little bit of, like, feud over, like, who's in total control. Like, is it the one with the power or the one with the smart? Smart. And I put her in charge, and she's smart like me, just like Batman.
Well, they have the whole part where you see kind of like Darkseid. Like, they're almost kind of comparing Trump, because for people who don't read a lot of DC, Darkseid, he is like the master villain of the DC universe, just about. And he has this thing called the anti-life equation, where he's basically able to tap in to someone's mind and make them just like, what's the point? And just kind of submit. And he's able to kind of turn nearly anybody and get them on his side. And they're almost kind of implying that Trump is some form of the anti-life equation in some way, I guess. Because Darkseid is here, and he's working with Joker. And Darkseid probably shows more personality in this than he does ever, because he just scowls and looks angry. But in this one, he's kind of like, he's pleased with himself, you know?
Yeah, no. He definitely has a lot more kind of going on. Well, because it's almost like they're not just using him as like all powerful dark side. It's more just like, here's this guy. He's almost like being the vice president kind of guy, like controlling stuff. And then even just like him trying to think that he's going to be able to take it all over with the anti-life equation, realizing that he doesn't, fucking gets kind of almost even defeated by Lara, and is then left to like the fat people of the world, like, oh, I got my fucking hot dog. Fuck you, dark side. Here, take a rock.
There's even this thing, because they keep on having like a Joker in like the in kind of in a similar outfit to what Ronald Reagan was wearing in Dark Knight Returns, the first one, and he has on it says, because this is something that was literally on Trump's wife's jacket when they were going somewhere, and it said like on the back, "I really don't care, do you?" So it's one of those things. He is going for blows. It says Frank Miller saying, "I got something fucking to say."
I know, it's always got funny because it's like Frank Miller's like the one guy I feel like who's allowed to do something kind of political at DC. Because it seems like if anybody else came up to you with that idea, you'd be like, no, sit the fuck back down. We're here to make fucking, superhero comics. Get this out of here. But if it's Frank, it's kind of like, well, it's Frank. It's okay. You know what? Whatever Frank says, even if it's crazy, just let him do it. It's Frank. His books will sell.
Every so often they say, I don't know about that one, Frank, which is that Holy War book that he came up with. Originally, he wanted Batman to be the star of that. So Batman going around killing terrorists was originally the idea for that book. That was his original idea for Dark Knight Returns 3. But then they pull back, like, you're not doing that. And they come up with another version, like, years later.
Yeah, exactly. But it's almost like one of those ones, like, probably even, like, nowadays, almost like, if Frank said that now, they'd probably be like, fuck it, I guess. He's kind of legacy. Because at that time period, I feel like that would have been the period where, like, whoa. We're not going to do that. But now they almost feel like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, I could see him kind of
going. It just seems like you could, like, they almost.
And then, they have this, what almost feels kind of like they say, all right, well, for the opener, the big opener of this isn't just like, oh, some Batman stuff. I noticed the Dark Knight series, after a while, it's more about Batman characters handling Superman shit. That's kind of what it becomes after a while. Because when you think about it, the first one, it's Batman going head to toe with going head to head with a lot of his own villains, and then at the very end, it's like, oh shit, I gotta fight Superman, which is something we didn't really take into account of. And then the next one, it's like he's fighting Lex Luthor and Brainiac. After that, he's doing the city of Kandor and a death cult within that, a bunch of Kryptonians. This one, we're already opening up with Darkseid.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like one of those ones they just kind of skip past all the Batman stuff. I mean, it's still there, but, it's just like, okay, let's just give him the big villains and have him kind of fight it out and make it, I guess, I don't know, seem more kind of, not really necessarily epic, but, like, give it, like, a grandeur scale, but also keep it still with that grounded, like, tough on the street kind of design.
Well, it seems like Dark Knight Returns, the first one, it was still Batman-centric, but it kind of like peeked over the fence of Gotham into what was going on around the rest of the world, and it brought in elements of that. Because even the opening, before you even read the main story, there's this whole foreword at the beginning. It's supposed to be like a Daily Planet article by Jimmy Olsen, and he talks about there's this hole-in-the-wall bar where all the old superheroes go that are outlawed. And you could tell who he's talking about just by references, doesn't say even by name, and it implies that the bartender is John Jones. And then he's just like, everyone's, even though these are all people, these are basically gods and people with powers, they're all scared of the one guy with no powers, the crazy guy, the Bat. And that's when the story actually starts. So it would kind of let you know that's going on. But by the time I got to Dark Knight Strikes Back, it really became just about what's going on in the DC universe, and here is how Batman and usually some Superman characters.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But no, this whole story, I mean, it's a little short run. It's like equivalent of like almost about like 2 thick issues or so. And then I don't know, is this supposed to be like continuous, or is this just one of those like weird, like, because every once in a while you get these random like in between stories that Frank Miller does. It's like, oh, that was it. That wasn't like, I mean, it's still part of the run, but it's not like, oh, this is like issue 1 out of something, because it just says end at the very end, and I don't even say like a number on here or anything.
As far as I know,
maybe
this
that's
is the
what
first
it is.
of 3. That's what I heard, because the reason it's called the Golden Child, I heard originally the synopsis was Carrie Kelly and Lara band together to stop Jonathan Kent and the son, Jonathan.
Stop Jonathan Kent from here. We're stopping him from burning the bacon this morning. He's getting old and up there. You can't trust him anymore.
He's got Alzheimer's.
Burnt down the whole farm.
Insurance won't cover it no more.
Yeah.
And Clark's off planet. You know, he keeps saying, "Dad, we really just want to send you to a nursing home." God damn it, boy! Dad, you know that doesn't hurt me. You're like, I'll do it as many times as I want. God damn it.
Yeah, you better listen to your fucking. You know, this is your real father. Your other father's a fucking pussy. He died up there in space. This is Jonathan Kent. This is All-American Kent. Clark, I'll slap the fucking shit out of you. I don't give a fuck if you're Superman. It's like, God, his old age, he just became kind of a dick.
Martha, get my beating stick.
Yeah, where's that boy at? It's the only thing that brings me pleasure.
Get my beating stick, Martha.
It'd be like one of those ones like, Clark.
Dad, Mom's dead.
Clark, I see why you don't like to go back home anymore.
Don't you want to go to visit your dad for Christmas? Like, part of me does, but at the same time, I know he doesn't even know it's fucking Christmas. He thinks it's May 1967, all right? He's not missing nothing. I get to enjoy Christmas. Everyone wins, kinda.
Yeah, it's like, last time I went there for Christmas,
in this one,
he found
though,
some long-haired kid out in the woods and dragged him back and said, "We're going to kill a hippie. Come on, Clark, let's do it. Just teach you to be a man."
Don't look it in the eyes. It'll try to make you feel something, but you gotta bottle that up and shove it down.
Now watch out, he might use his acid breath on you. You gotta be careful. You gotta always be able to turn your head quickly. Can't get high now.
If he bites you, he could turn you.
Yeah, exactly. Next thing you know, you'll have fucking long hair and you'll stop fucking bathing, and next thing you know, you're tripping on everything. Literally, physically, everything, mentally, tripping. I don't get it with these kids. Dad, it's fucking 2027.
So help me God, Clark, if I ever see you in a drum circle.
God forbid if I catch you in a drum circle.
Going through
That's
this.
That's the last straw. I'm starting that rocket back up and I'm sending you back fucking home. And no, I'm not paying the postage on it.
Slapping a return to sender sticker on that bitch.
Yeah, be like, nope, not my son.
Take it back, space. No, but essentially what this is this is just a big brawl in the city, but it doesn't really get dull to me. I don't know. Maybe because it's kind of shorter and the artwork's kind of dynamic. We never really get to see Carrie Kelly as the new Batwoman do this before. And I really like the artwork. It looks kind of weird. Like the characters I've seen this artwork before. I don't know where I've seen it, but I know I've definitely seen it. The characters' faces have kind of like wrinkles in there, and it still looks kind of Frank Miller-ish in some parts. And you pointed out, and I noticed this the first time too. They have a Sonic. The battle that Batwoman has, that Carrie Kelly Batwoman has with Joker's goons, leads them to an arcade. And like, this is my old turf. This is where I used to hang out, which is where Carrie Kelly saw Batman for the first time in Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, exactly. For some reason, that arcade, like fucking 30 fucking years later, is still there. Like, okay.
I guess that's the one thing that never really changed too much from there. But yeah. And you see like a parody on Sonic, you see a parody on Street Fighter in there for a second.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's like, oh, look, there's a Sonic reference in a Frank Miller book. I never thought I'd put those two together.
I doubt that's him. I bet that's probably the artist. The artist, like, just throw some video game shit in there. And he's like, okay, well, I'll put in Sonic. I don't fucking care. Crash Bandicoot, Sonic, Jersey Devil, whatever the fuck that one was.
You're like, yeah, you know... What are the kids still playing? They're playing that Bubsy shit still? No, Frank. The Bubsy thing still is alive, oddly enough. But no, I don't think they're really playing that game still.
So then they go through and they just kind of have this big, like, I don't know. It's just very simple. They just have a big battle with Darkseid, and I don't remember. I want to say something happens where they kill Darkseid, but the thing about Darkseid is if you kill him, because Darkseid is this all-powerful entity from, like, that crosses dimensions. So if you kill a Darkseid, another Darkseid just comes back. He's like, I'm back, bitch, and I'm newer and fresher than ever, you know? And I think that something happens. I don't remember how it works exactly, but I want to say Lara didn't, like, it looks like he killed Lara for a second, but then imply that she's not dead. She's just transported somewhere else or something to that effect.
Yeah, there's something like that, and then like Darkseid kind of just sort of like lost his like power, so he's just sitting there like immortal, and that's when everybody starts like throwing fucking rocks at him and stuff. He's like, "Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it fucking hurts. Ow, you son of a bitch! Stop throwing rocks at me."
Because it implies it like says like we'll be back, Darkseid. Don't you fret. I'll wear my best. So something happens where I guess she got, hit with his Omega beams or whatever. He's like, I'll be back. I'm not really dead, even though it usually kills everyone else. And then he has no power, and then all these people, this mob is going to gang up on him, and then I believe that's where it just ends right there. And there'll be more. I heard there's going to be more, but very straightforward story. It's I think it's sometimes good to just kind of make a more simpler, chill story. I actually already kind of like this one more than Superman Year One. Hopefully, it keeps them going down this good path. The only thing about when you touch a classic like Dark Knight, like I guess by this point this is the fourth one, so it's not as like how dare you touch that. But I guess whenever you do go back to Dark Knight Returns, it's always one of those things like, ooh, are you gonna mess it up? That's what everyone kind of gets.
Yeah, well, I'm down for any of them, so it's like I like this one quite a bit. And I noticed this is kind of like the new. It seems like for DC, this is kind of their new thing now. Is it seems like for their like high bar comics, I guess you would call them, is they're making them in like kind of like they're almost like about like equivalent of like maybe like a 2 or 3 kind of issue book, but in one. So it's like they're kind of like nice thick issues, and they only do about 3 of them. But 3 of them would be technically like a graphic novel equivalent of 6 regular issues. So I just noticed it's like, because this one does it, like the Last Night on Earth did it, the Superman one was also in that same style too, where like it had like the thick issues instead of like the, it might be like the old, almost like the old like X-Men ones where it's like giant size X-Men, it's so fucking big, you're gonna need some more coins, kids. Go ask your parents for more money. Stan ain't fucking paying the bills around here. You are.
Well, Stan did his time. Now it's time for you. No, it's one of those things where I feel like they're trying to. It's under the Black Label. They have the Black Label, which is where they can swear a little more. They could show violence. And they could say this book is intended for people 17 or older. And Superman Year One feels mostly like it could be for like, a teenager or even most kids. The only thing that's a little off-putting is the part where it doesn't happen. There's an attempt of rape, but no clothes get torn, nothing happens. He stops it from happening. And then there's also the part where there's the mermaid Poseidon man who's like, I like to fuck my daughters. What? You heard me. I didn't stutter. Look at my stone cold face.
Well, what's the kind of the weird thing though is like I noticed of all the Black Label books so far, none of them come across to me as like full rated R. They all come across maybe a hard PG-13. But I will say this: I think there's Batman books I've read throughout time that I feel are much more rated R than like these ones.
It's because they don't bleep out like fuck or shit if they say it, and
and I guess because
they say
it's still so rare that they even do that kind of stuff in there. It's not like I almost feel like you expect it just to be like filled to the brim with that stuff, and it's like, oh no, it's just there like it's like one more sprinkle, I guess, over like a regular comic.
The first one out of the gate with the Black Label was Batman Damned. That was the book that the whole controversy about showing Batman's dick, and then I think the next one was, I think the one they're coming out with right now is Harleen, which is about a detailed story about how Harley met the Joker. Really, when you think about it, with the exception of Superman Year One, it's all really just Batman stories.
Yeah, I know.
I think there might be a Constantine one in there somewhere.
Yeah, there might be. There's probably other stuff. It's just that those are the only ones I've ran across so far. But yeah, just Batman galore. Because isn't Batman Last Night on Earth also a black one too, a Black Label?
That's Black Label, and I guess we could just jump over the next one for that, like on Last Night on Earth,
which is the third one of that Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder, kind of like the final one where they're like, we're doing a final one because we'll probably do another final one later on, but fuck it, you know what? You can never have enough ending Batmans.
Well, at the same time, I was reading this one because I'll be honest, the first 2 issues I really dug. I was really into them. And then we got to this one, I'm like, all right, where's this going? And it just kind of ends. It just really ends. And it's not like, I don't know, it wasn't like, I don't know, it was just very unceremonious.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too. It's like maybe it doesn't help that you had a Frank Miller book as well too to go along with it, because I felt like that was ones like the Frank Miller book was really dialed in, and then this one was kind of like, oh, it's kind of like, we need to get this kind of done, and it's not bad, but it was just kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, like I like the start of it where it's like where Jim Gordon's like, he's like, Bruce, we're putting in a new fucking, bat signal here. Like, don't get so antsy about it. It's, these things happen. I gotta change this out. I know you never see this because you're always off doing something. You tell me that, like, no, you fucking haul that shit up the stairs. I'm not coming over to help you move, though it's your fucking signal.
So, I know you're a fucking millionaire. I know you're that Bruce Wayne guy. I know you got the fucking money to do it.
So here's Jim.
You hire movers.
Jim at fucking 2 a.m. in the morning with the fucking bat signal on his back, going up the stairs, smoking a cigarette. This is the only thing that keeps me youthful anymore is cigarettes, just letting you know. And so, yeah, here it is. Here's your fucking birthday present, Bruce. I set the thing up here. Press the fucking button.
Do the honors. Like, well, here's the thing about this book. There's a lot of things it sets up, and it expands on everything else from previous books in this series, or in this story. And that's all good, but it just, when it gets to the end, it's like, let's slap a bow on this. And I want to say, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to say the original book, first two, were maybe 80 pages each. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was 60. But I want to say I thought they were 80 pages. And this one was only 60 pages. And this one was delayed for like 3 months.
Well, that was the other thing, too, because I kind of forgot about this book. It's like, oh, yeah. So it's like, when going into it, it's like, it's been like almost a while. So I wasn't super fresh on the first two. I kind of was piecing it together as it's going along. I want to say the other ones were about that 60-page thing, too. Maybe the first one might have been maybe a little bit longer. And they might have had maybe some bonus artwork or something like that. But I think that it was still about the same length. I don't think that was too much changed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just kind of like, it goes back into like, then you get like that alternate kind of like Batman Future Society where you got like Dick Grayson who's blind, and you got fucking Wonder Woman who has shaved head, and Barbara Gordon's all fucking old and in charge and shit. And it's got kind of these kind of cool characters and setups, and seeing like how this like alternate kind of world is. And then you got youthful Batman coming in with Joker in his little like head container. And it's like, I mean, like that's kind of like the selling point of it, and that keeps going. But like by this point it was just like, oh, it's like, okay, we're there, and now there's going to be this kind of sort of like final scuffle, and it's going to take a young Batman to fight a Omega Batman.
Yeah. So that whole thing, I remember before we were talking about like who's Omega, because it's somebody who's masked, and we don't really know who Omega is. And we're assuming it's somebody we already know, and we even theorized on who Omega was, and we were both throwing that around there, and we were both saying, hope it's not Damian, hope it's not Tim Drake, the obvious ones, nothing like that. And then, because the whole thing is a thing they brought up several times in Batman books in the recent years, is if Batman dies, he has a clone machine that like spits out another Batman, like, because there always needs to be a Batman there. So, turns out that this is not any other character. This is actually OG Batman. OG Batman became evil Omega Batman and kind of helped guide the end of the world, essentially. So, and I don't remember all the reasons whys of how. It was something to do with Darkseid and like another version of the anti-life equation, going back to what we talked about earlier. And it was just something, it was some weird thing that kicked everything off at once. And then Batman coming in as Omega is kind of tricking people out of the anti-life equation, but it was kind of like a counteract to that, but it still went too far. And now he's just being a dictator. Like, yeah, it's not the anti-life equation, but we're picking up the pieces, and it's what we got to do to survive. If you're getting in the way, I'm going to have to kill you, because that's just what I do now.
Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know, it felt kind of weird. Like, it's almost like he just kind of owned up and like, oh, shit, I fucked up. Well, I guess I'm the villain now. Batman don't stop working, even if he's got a different job.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about this, because it's like, both Snyder and Capullo know Batman and his other characters very well. They've written some of the best Batman stories. And something about this just felt like, maybe it's not meant to take place in the same universe or something, but it just felt off of what, like, from previous history. Just because Joker is kind of laughing the whole time while he's hanging on Batman's hip while he's in this little lantern thing. And the thing about it, though, is he's like, well, I'm not really mad at Joker just because he's harmless. He's in this little jar right here. What the fuck's he gonna do? And maybe I can bring him around. Maybe he can let me inform me of things that happen around the world while I was gone. And then eventually they plug his head onto a robot body, because they say that Tim Drake got paralyzed from the neck down, but he eventually made this badass armored Robin suit that was just this big giant machine. And they plug Joker's head onto that. I'm like, this is gonna end well. This is gonna end very bad, just very bad. And then, oh, he's Joker. Joker's Robin, and he's fine with it, and everything works out. They're friends now. Like
They're fucking
really?
taking
Yeah,
fucking selfies together and shit.
yeah. You know, I know that he murdered members of your family and friends and all that, and that's, you know, every time a Joker book happened in the Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder run, everything just stopped because it was so fucking much of a catastrophe. But this right here, it's just like, yeah, you know, it's, you know, new age. We're over it.
Yeah, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. Come on, like, you know what? I learned something about carrying around this Joker head. You know what? We actually got a lot more in common than you think.
He used to play Pogs too.
Yeah. Shit. You know, I got more in common with him than fucking Omega Batman. That guy's a fucking asshole. We both agree on that one.
Yeah, so it's like, it's one of those things. Reading this, I was just like, when I got to the end, when they come as ultimately to the reveal, and it just feels like kind of like slapped together and just kind of ends. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. I mean, that's probably. I mean, I don't want to sound like a dick. Like, this book owes me, you know, this book owes me this much. But I mean, this is like the one time I think I read a Capullo and a Snyder story, and it was just like, oh, okay. By the end of it.
Yeah, that's what I kind of felt too. It was like one of those ones, like, and I just said, I'm like, but it's just not like, it was just me, or is it just not feeling it? I mean, like, it's got, you know, granted, it's got great Greg Capullo artwork in it. Of course, there's all kinds of characters in there and so on, but it's just one of those ones, like, yeah, I just kind of, I don't know, just like when you just kind of learn that Omega Batman's like, oh, it's just that Batman from that universe that they're at right now, and it's just the original Batman, and that's all it is. At the end of the day, it's. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real, like, hardcore turnaround. It's kind of like, oh, okay. You know, it's like, I didn't guess that because that didn't seem like a very, like, great idea in the first place. I'm just saying. That's the only reason it didn't cross my mind.
Well, something else had happened, because earlier on they talked about how this Batman has a flashback. Well, no, actually, story first starts off. He's finds a kid in crime alley. The kid's like a dead body, but he's rigged to have a gun come up and shoot Batman in the gut. And then we cut to the future and we think, oh, I guess that's where Batman died in real life, or in the past. But then we open the next story and it's like, oh no, he was still alive. He was nursing a gun wound. He was going and talking to Joe Chill. And Joe Chill is kind of saying like, this is revenge or whatever, and think about it, this is what you started. And then we jump further back to this book, and we find out that Joe Chill's murder, Joe Chill killing Bruce's parents, it wasn't just some random act. It was revenge, because he, like, Thomas Wayne was not able to save his son. His son died in agony and screaming for his parents, and he was not able to help them, and the Waynes paid to cover it up. So it's this whole, that was just a revenge thing. Like, oh wow, that's a ballsy choice. I give you credit for doing that. Right on. And then later, Joker has this moment where you think Joker's dying. He tells Batman, like, I want to let you know something. I found a way to get those documents and forge them and change them. It was really hard to do. And so he says, like, okay, so you did this elaborate thing where you had a child killed, or at least got a dead body of a child, rigged him up to this, did all that just to set up this elaborate plan, which is very Joker-like. It is very Joker-like. But then you still stop to take a selfie with him at the end.
Yeah. And then even the Joe Chill thing, like, I mean, I think it's like an interesting kind of like ploy. I still think that, like, always, like, the best part is just how, like, the fact it's just random, has nothing to do with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know everybody always wants an answer to everything, and I think there's something to be said when there is no answer in life. Just like that just fucking happened.
Yeah. I think that's fine too. I'm totally okay with that. I was just like, that was an interesting thing to tee off, but it was more as a red herring. And Joker comes out and says, like, yeah, that was my whole thing. I set that thing up. And it was just like, gee, okay. Well, what was the fucking... Okay. Well, you can't suddenly be best friends with this guy, walking around in basically the same colors your son wore, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's just... It's odd. Like, I don't know. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what to really think about the book.
I feel like maybe maybe Scott, because I love the first two issues and I liked where this started off. It's just when it gets to the end, I guess really what the two things that really bother me, just because they seem very uncharacteristic. Omega just ends up being Batman, which partway through this kind of got that vibe. Like, all right, maybe he's just Batman. We got, but Omega is Batman. And then on top of that, you also have like Batman and Joker just staying friends, in which there could be some way to do that, but it happens too instantly, too instantly. Because it's still a Batman with memories who knows everything the Joker's done previously.
Yeah, it's not like he's got like amnesia or something like that.
And then I don't know. And then like when it ends, just kind of ends.
Well, it's weird because then like there's like
one of those things.
A Superman fucking ship comes down, and then it's like Batman's like, "Come on, Joker, we can have our own gay love child. Wonder Woman, you can cook for us."
Yeah, where'd that new super baby? Where'd that new Superman baby come from? Is that going back to like the one Lex Luthor made? I think maybe that was going back to the one Lex Luthor made.
Maybe that's what it was.
Issue 2 or something, because he was trying to clone Superman.
Maybe that's what it was. I kind of forgot about that part because that's all I remember.
Because we'll both be dads.
Yeah, we might be. Your two dads. And well, look at one of them. She looks more like a dude than both of us combined. Let's just be honest. Right now, look at that haircut. See that fucking family photo right there?
Abs.
Shit, this Superman's gonna grow up with 3 dads. It's gonna have Joker robot dad, awesome Batman dad, and then fucking big titty Amazon dad.
Big titty Amazon.
That'd be his 3 dads. That's the end of the story here.
It's gonna really confuse him on gender.
Exactly, and he's gonna ask one day that why don't I have a mother, even though this looks like a female. No, you're 3 dads. Get used to it. Shit, her voice is deeper than his voice. Come on.
Yeah. Like she's like, he can call me mom. It's okay, but they just keep on insisting. No, dad.
No, it's a dad's world. Shit, it's the end of my fucking story. I ain't calling fucking Wonder Woman last night on Earth, is it? No, yeah, shut the fuck back down and just listen to it. Now raise this fucking child, because I got things to do.
But she like just grabs him by the neck, like, oh, okay, all right.
Okay, sorry, I forgot. She's definitely the one who wears the pants in the house, boy. Keep that in mind. But yeah.
Yeah, your dads are fucking. What of it?
Yeah, it's just one of those ones. Like it's like, oh, okay. I just feel like maybe it's just one of those ones like they just wanted to go for that super bizarro ending. Like you didn't see this coming now, did you? And you'd be like, yeah, that's true. I always have to give you credit if that's what the choice is. Let's do it. Like, you know what? Maybe it is kind of weird to have it that way.
I'm wondering if it's one of a couple things. If it's just one of those things where Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo had like another ending, and now all this weird shake-up stuff is going on at DC and Warner Brothers, that it got shot down, so they had to kind of like Zack Snyder like Justice League, and kind of like they had to just chop it up and just try to like divvy it up and change it around or whatever. Like, all right, well, I guess we'll just change it up last minute and try to make it something else now. Or if it's one of those things where Scott Snyder just got mad partway through. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just end it. I don't know. I got 10 other things going on right now. Fuck this. Let's just get it over with. If it was that, or if it was just one of those things like he's trying to make some weird fucking statement that he knows that people are going to be like, what the fuck is this? But then years later, he's hoping years later people come back around like, oh, that was ballsy. That was different.
Yeah, I almost think it's kind of in that weird, like, because I don't think it's like, because Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, like, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to tell them no at fucking DC. So I don't think, I think that one could be kind of ruled out. You know what I mean? Unless for some reason they had like something, they're like, oh yeah, well guess what? Joker and fucking Batman raped that Superman child at the very end. That's how it fucking ends. You're like, what?
Throwing up the metal horns. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. No. You know what I mean? Unless it's something like really out there, it's like, I'm pretty sure no one says no. I bet you they just went, you know what? You expect this Batman book to end like cool and then like a classic Batman action scene or whatever and fighting for victory and so on. They're like, fuck it, we're just gonna make it weird and goofy, and just go like it almost has like, it sounds so weird. It almost has like a Teen Titans Go like feel to it, but with fucking Greg Capullo art all of a sudden. I mean, without like the constant jokes, but just like the oddness of it. Yeah,
there's that. Well, I don't know. I mean, the reason I say that is just because Warner Brothers was recently bought by AT&T, and Warner Brothers owns DC, and apparently AT&T and other assets of it are coming in and trying to like they literally trimmed down Tom King's run on Batman. He originally had more he wanted to do, but they literally said, no, we're cutting you off here. You originally had 20 issues to finish up what you want to do. Now you have 10. So it was something kind of like that. So I don't know if that's what happened here or what happened, but this book was delayed for a while. I want to say because I don't even when the first one come out. The first one came out because they were like month to month for a while.
It almost seemed like the first one came out in summer. That's how long ago it was. But I don't know if it was that. I don't think it was that long, but maybe like August or something. I don't know.
August or September possibly, and this one took like 2 or 3 months to come out, I believe. It was something to that effect. But no, it's not that I totally dislike or hate this book, but it was just like compared to the first two, because the first two is like, oh man, we're in for some shit. But then you kind of get through it. I'm like, it was a little bit of I don't know. The ending's a little bit of a letdown, but it's not like I'm not going to be one of those people who suddenly gets. I feel like you get those fans who there's one bad version, there's like one bad entry, and suddenly that writer is dead to them or that company is dead to them. I'm not going to be that guy, but I'll say this probably is the weaker of a Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo story, which all the other ones I thought were really good, and this one was going pretty good. Then you get to this issue, I'm like, oh well.
And this is one of those books that maybe in like 2 years from now you reread it again and maybe get like a new light on it. Who knows? It might be one of those weird ones that kind of comes back because I don't know. That happens to me every once in a while with stuff, especially like movies and so on, where like you go back and you're like, you know what? Now that I kind of know what's going on and I kind of give it like a new light, it's like, okay, I kind of see what it is. I mean, maybe that wasn't number one choice or the best choice, but I still can kind of get it. I mean, at the moment, this was kind of a weird idea. I don't think it's going to be one of those ones where I'm going to be like, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be like, dude, I don't know why I didn't think about it, but, I slept on it, and now I got these whole new ideas about this story. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, but...
Yeah. Oh, update, going back to this, you were right. I was wrong. They weren't 80 pages each. They were 60 pages each. And the first one came out May 29th, and the... second one, let's see. Oh, goddamn, this thing.
See, those things are so spread apart. That's why I had to like, I was almost like not totally up to date on this book when I was reading. I was like, man, I felt like it's been a long time.
The second one came out July 31st. So I guess they're doing them bi-monthly for minutes. And then this one came out now.
Like 6 months later.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. Still worth checking out. I would say it's not like it's like those ones like for a Batman fan. I mean, I feel like it's still like a must read. Like you should still go out of your way and check it out because you get Greg Capullo artwork at the end of the day, if anything. So.
And his artwork's always fantastic.
You can never deny that. But yeah, if you have to choose between this and the Frank Miller book, though, I mean, I'd go with the Frank Miller book by far.
Yeah, and this might sound like blasphemy to a lot of people. I like Scott Snyder more than Frank Miller. I do, and a lot of people might be like, blasphemy, you can't say that and explode without exploding into flames, but,
Well, he also has, like, way more books, too, at the same time, you know what I mean?
I think that they probably really, because Frank Miller's been writing and drawing for a long time, I think they probably have,
well, I was saying just
maybe
Batman
similar...
books. I wasn't thinking, like, everything, just Batman in general. I feel like Frank Miller's only got, like, seems like 5 or 6 Batman books at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm going to say I'm definitely, I think, more by this point, a Scott Snyder fan than a Frank Miller fan, and I'm always going to probably like Scott Snyder's work. And but when I was reading this book, it wasn't god-awful. It was just, you get to the end, it just leaves such a weird, like, I don't know, just such a weird, like, I guess that's it? Okay, all right, we'll see, whatever. If he comes out with another Batman book, I'm still totally there. I view this book, me personally, I thought what this was going to be. I honestly thought it was going to do something like this. Like, it was going to be like, and I'm not downing the book for not doing what's in my head here, but I thought it was going to be something to the effect of, oh, well, in order for us to solve this crime, to solve the future, we have to figure out what happened in the past. I thought it was going to be something kind of like that, and then we get a chance at, like, going back in time and stopping it from happening or something, and not that you have to do that in order for this book to make sense, but by the end of it, like, what was the point of all this shit about Joe Chill if none of that ever happened anyway? So, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah, it kind of felt like it had this more like grandeur kind of story going. Then it was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, we just sort of we'll just end in our weird kind of futuristic Mad Max world, and yeah, well, this is our new Batman now. Get rid of that fucking Omega Batman. We got new Batman. We got Superboy and Joker in a Robin costume, and Wonder Woman looking all manly.
Wonder Dad.
Yeah, Wonder Dad. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe there'll be a follow up to this book. I know it's like 1 out of 3, or 3 out of 3, but you never know. Maybe there'll be like that one where like, hey, here's this extra book that it follows up, and that was just a summer vacation that they went on in between it. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense. I'm trying to make more sense out of it than it is, and I feel like that makes it more confusing.
Yeah, well, no, I assume that, I mean, I don't know. I honestly think it would have, I don't know. I honestly thought what was going to happen is somebody was going to get, once again, I'm not downing the book for not doing what I was in my head. I thought maybe he wouldn't go back in time physically, but they would like do that whole kind of like X-Men Days of Future Past thing, which I'm sure some character in DC could do that, where they send his mind back to his old self or something to that effect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see something like that.
And from there, he tries to figure out what went wrong.
Yeah, and just piecing it together and so on. But yeah, I don't know. There's been possibilities, but there's always all kinds of Batman stuff to be had, so you can't go wrong there. But yeah, if you want to check these books out, we'll put a little link in the description down there. You can grab yourself a copy off Amazon and whatnot, or Comixology, all tied together, and have a good old time with both Frank, Scott, Greg Capullo, and then who's the artist on the Frank book? Was that like his name?
I thought it was Ben something. Not Ben something. No, Raphael. I'm confusing artists. That one.
Whatever.
God, when I pull that
I feel
thing
bad.
up. We want to give it. I know this is probably killing the momentum, but we want to give credit where credit's due.
It's Raphael, Grandpa.
Raphael.
I don't know why his Grandpa is his last name.
Grandpa.
I've never heard of this guy, but I like this guy. I feel like I've seen his artwork before somewhere, but so.
His Damien drawing on the cover is a little fucking creepy and off-putting. I really like, I think he drew, because Laura is one of those characters I was kind of like always meh about, and she's still kind of a bitch in this, but I don't know, since he drew her, I don't know, I think she looks, the way, in his style, she looks really cool.
I agree there too, because I always thought she looked kind of weird in the sort of the Frank Miller ones. Like she had just like, and she was always in that same pose, even though she's in that same pose like in this book all the time too, like where she's like in the air, like knees up, like ass sticking out, like back broken. You know what I mean? Like for some reason just floating there with her ponytail, just being like, yo, what up? But this one I felt like, yeah.
Frank Miller always had her in that position, yeah.
Yeah, it's like she's stuck there. Like she fell down like in like a sissy squat and like never could get back up again. And she's like, well, at least I can fly, so it's okay. But yeah, no, I think he's definitely like drawing her like way cooler kind of in this one, and it's that kind of thing where like I like how a lot of these artists like they pretty much do like the Frank Miller style, kind of just like more highly detailed, I guess is the best way to say it.
Well, there's the whole part where they go in the arcade and they do something with the color because the lights go out and everything's way more neon. So there are moments where they kind of like, we're going to pay tribute to his artwork, but we're still doing our own thing. But it looks like it could definitely take place in the Dark Knight world.
Oh yeah, totally. But yeah, grab all those fun books and more, and then you can always check out more good times at oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, comics like Pizza Boyz. That's Pizza Boyz with a Z. That's up on Comixology and Amazon as well. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Rand Dunigan.
We'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks again for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Sure, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, animation, and a whole lot more. We also have the Old Man Orange blog going with all kinds of fun stuff. If you easily want to support the show, use one of our Amazon links either on the website or in the description of the podcast below. Rate, review, and subscribe to the show either on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Newgrounds, or anywhere else that you seem to get this podcast from. Grab the sitcom-styled comic book Pizza Boyz on either Comics Central, Comixology, or Amazon. Want more podcasts? Check out the Indie Comics Club over at Comics Central. I also got a workout website called Thor's Hidden Gym, filled with fitness tips and tricks, videos, and a whole lot more fun stuff in the calisthenics world. Talk to us on Twitter at Spencer S. Holmes and Dunigan Ryan. Like our Facebook pages of Old Man Orange Productions and Pizza Boyz Comic. Thanks again, we're out of here.